All right, for this particular problem, I'm actually going to skip it because I'm not going to put this on your test. So we're just going to skip this pizza problem and move on. So this next problem on this page says find the area of a figure. So now we're mixing some stuff up. So if you look at this figure, it's a cone. It looks like an ice cream cone, you know? So the top of it is a semicircle, right? So, you know, this is what we're dealing with. And the diameter is 8 inches. And then the second piece to this is a triangle. And I know the height of this is 6 inches. And the base is 8. Okay, so now it tells me to find the area of a figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of a circle first. Remember, area equals pi times the radius squared. Remember, I have the diameter. Diameter equals 8. So 1/2 of the diameter equals the radius. So 1/2 of 8 equals 4. So I'm going to do pi times 4 squared equals area. So this equals 16 times pi. And when I multiply that out, I get 50.27. But remember, that's for an entire circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to half 50.27 to get the semicircle. And when I half that, I get 25.13 inches squared. So that is the area for that semicircular figure on the top. So the first one. Now the second one, I have to find the area of a triangle. So I'm going to do 1/2 base times height. So the triangle is upside down, but the base is 8 and the height is 6. So 1/2 of 8 is 4, and 4 times 6 is 24 inches squared. So my last step with this, I'm going to put like this is part 3, is I'm going to add the semicircle plus the area of the triangle together. So I'm going to get 25.13 plus 24. And when I add those together, I get 49.13 inches squared. Okay? Now, this next figure kind of like looks like Pac-Man on its side. But if we look at it, it almost looks like a circle. And I didn't draw that well, but if you just imagine, it looks like almost an entire circle. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of a circle. So pi r squared. But then I'm going to only need 3/4 of it. Okay? All right, so the radius is 4. So r equals 4. So I get pi times the radius 4 squared. So pi times 16, when I multiply that out, I get 50.27. Okay, and that is meters squared. But remember, I only need 3/4 of this to find the shape. Because if you break it up into 4 equal parts, I have 3/4 of it that I need. Okay, so 3/4 times 50.27. And if you want to, 3/4, by the way, is 0.75. So 0.75 of 50.27. And when I do that, I get 37.70 meters squared. So that's how I figured out that special shape. So let's look at the next page. Find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so by the way, if I know the length of the square is 7, then I can make the assumption, because it's a square, that I have the diameter, which is also 7 centimeters. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of the square first. And remember, it's 7 centimeters. Okay, so to find the area of a square, I take side and I square it. So 7's the side. I'm going to square that to get 49 centimeters squared. Okay, the second step is I'm going to find the area of a circle. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm planning on subtracting the area of the square minus the area of the circle. Okay, so to find the area of a circle, I'm going to do pi r squared. I have the diameter, it's 7. So half the diameter equals the radius, so 1/2 of 7 equals 3.5. Okay, so I'm going to do pi times 3.5 squared. So let's see what that equals when you plug it in the calculator. When you do that, I got 38.48. And when I did that in the calculator, I took 3.5 and I squared it first and then multiplied it by pi. Okay, again, we're in centimeters squared. So the next step is I'm going to take area 1 minus area 2, and that'll give me that green shaded region. So 49 minus 38.48, and when I do that, I get 10.52 centimeters squared. Okay, so 10.52 centimeters squared. So let's do this. Find the area of the figures below. That should say find the area of the shaded figure. Okay, find the area of the shaded figure. All right, so we have the outside shape, which is a rectangle. And I know this is 18 centimeters. That is the length. And its width is 9 centimeters. So if I find the area of that, area equals length times width. So 18 times 9. And when I do that, I get 162. And that's going to be in centimeters squared. Okay, second step. Now I need this triangle that's inside of it. Okay, to figure out the height, it's how tall the rectangle is. This is 9. To figure out the base, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 18, which is the total length of the side of the rectangle, minus 3 minus 2. Because that is the width here and here. Okay, so 3 and 2 is 5. So 18 minus 5 gives me 13. That's the base. And the height is 9. So to find the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So the base is 13 and the height is 9. Okie dokie. So when I do that, I get 58.5, and that's centimeters squared. So I have one last step, is to subtract the outside figure, which is a rectangle, minus the inside figure, which is the triangle. So take area of 1 minus area of the second one. So 162 minus 58.5. And when I do that, I get 103.5 centimeters squared. Okay. Almost done with this section, guys. A high school track is shaped like a rectangle with a semicircle on each end. The rectangle has the length of 105 meters and the width of 68 meters. Find the area enclosed by the track. Find the distance around the track. Round your answer to the nearest hundreds. Okay, so we have two things to do. We have to find the perimeter, which is the distance around, and we also have to find the area. So let's draw this first. Okay. All right. So half the circle is on this end and the other half of the circle is on this end. So I'm going to call this area 1, area 2, area 3. Okay. If I add 1 and 3, I will get a circle. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and work on finding the area of this first. So again, what I'm doing is I'm adding area 1 plus area 3. Okay? All right. The rectangle has a length of 105 and it has the width of 68. So I know that the diameter of the circle has to be 68. Okay? But again, if I wanted the area of a circle, I have to do 1/2. Sorry, no I don't. I have to do pi r squared. Okay, so I need the radius. It's half the diameter. So 1/2 of 68 will give me 34. So area equals pi times 34 squared. Okay, when I do that, I do 34 times 34 and then times pi, I get 3,631.68. Okay, and that is in meters squared. Now, the second part, or area 2, is the rectangle itself. Okay, so when we do that, we get 105, which is the length, and 68 is the width. So area equals length times width. So area equals 105 times 68. So 105 times 68 will give me 7,140 centimeters squared. So my last step is to add area 1 plus area 2 together. So I'm going to add the circle, which is 3,631.68 plus 7,140 centimeters squared. And I accidentally put centimeters on that. Sorry about that, guys. That should be meters. Let me fix that really quick. Big difference. Okay, so I'm going to add those two together. So the total area is 10,771.68 meters squared. That is the area. Okay, to find the perimeter, it equals the distance around. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same technique where I'm going to take the two ends, right? The two ends, and we're going to put them together. So I'm not finding area, I'm finding the distance around. So I'm looking for this. So if I'm looking for that, for the two ends, I'm going to find the circumference. Okay, so the circumference can be found by taking pi times the diameter. And the diameter, remember, is 68. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to my calculator here. Okay, and I'm going to type in pi. And I'm multiplying that by 68. Again, I'm using the pi key, okay, because it didn't tell me to use 3.14. And it says round my answers nearest hundredths, so that is going to be 213.628. I have to round to nearest hundredths, which is the 2 falls in that place. I'm going to put the little arrow, and I'm going to look at the digit behind the 2. Okay, and that's an 8. So I'm going to round up. So 213.63 will get me the distance around the two ends. Okay, now I got to add these two sides to find the distance around. So I'm not finding the circumference of the entire rectangle, just these two sides. The sides, or the length, is 105 of that rectangle. So now I'm going to add 105 plus another 105 plus 213.68. And when I do that, I got 423.68. and that is going to be in meters. Okay? All right, so hopefully you understood that one. It was a little tricky, but that is the end of 10.4/10.6. All right, thank you for watching, and now you're ready to do the circular portion of the homework.